launch day, Marvel Spider-Man 2 is out. I don't want to take you away from the game too much, as I know you guys are all enjoying it, but I had the chance to interview Bryan Intihar at Insomniac Games. I was a little nervous. This is the first time I've ever done something like this, but a huge thank you to Bryan for such a great chat. And then as well, thanks to PlayStation Canada for putting this all together and for providing me this opportunity. Finally, I need to thank you guys watching at home for all the support you've been showing on these videos, for all the likes you leave on these videos, the comments, everything, the feedback. I really appreciate it. I'm nothing without you guys. Love you guys. All right, let's get into the interview. Let's see what Bryan has to say, but quickly, like the video. Bryan, first of all, thank you for taking the time. Glad to be able to chat with you. But we were just talking right before we jumped into this, but I'll ask you again, you know, the reviews have dropped, a 91 on Metacritic. People clearly love the game. How you feeling? How's the folks at Insomniac feeling after such a big day yesterday?
I mean, I think the team is really happy. I say I'm probably more relieved right in this moment that we're recording. I think the happiness will kick in as more people get to play the game. But yeah, obviously, you know, the reception has been really, really positive. We knew the expectations were high. So the fact that it sounds like we made a lot of people happy is good, and I'm just really excited for more people to jump in and play it, and hopefully they haven't been online reading all the spoilers. One of the things, we throughout development, we always talk about what we want to show, what we want to wait, hide, subvert expectations. And I remember after the preview event, I know you were down for the preview event, and showing some of the after Pete got the black suit. And people talking about, oh, I saw this and I saw that. And I'm thinking they haven't seen anything yet. They really haven't really seen a lot of the game. And, so like, I mean, definitely the back half, we haven't showed anything. Obviously the opening is a big surprise. So yeah, it was because I felt like we, in the first game, definitely were, like we had to show like, hey, we know how to make a Spider-Man game. We got to do some out. And like, I was like, how can we do less and surprise people more? So I get it. It's, it's 2023. People are gonna seek out spoilers and stuff like that. So yeah, but I'm pretty pumped.
That's awesome. I mean, you mentioned like Peter getting the symbiote and everything, and I know like the symbiote abilities, that's a huge draw. That's a huge part of the game. But I also wanted to ask you about the fact that like on top of that, Peter's got the iron arms now. Those are kind of like a permanent part of his moveset. And so like, what was the decision making there behind the scenes going into Spider-Man 2 to give him that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, no one's actually asked me that yet, because I think it's so much about I think it's so much about the symbiote, right? Because it's such a big draw for people, especially Marvel fans and Spider-Man fans. But we made the Miles Morales game, and Miles has a very unique and distinct abilities. Like he has the ability to go camo, he has the bioelectricity, right? Well, like we knew that it was going to be a little while before Pete got the symbiote based on the story we wanted to tell. But it wasn't like we wanted Pete to have no ability. So we're like, what can we do to kind of give him something that also not like teaches this idea of like the slotted abilities.
Right.
And we thought, well, let's dip into the Marvel Spider-Man lore and go, what if he had the arms? Because the arms were just kind of like it was like a finisher, a suit power back in the day of this first game, and we were like, let's just expand upon it. And so obviously he in the first game he worked with Ock, and he knows some of the knowledge of the arms. He draws some inspiration from those, but obviously keeps the bad parts of the arms away. And it's just a little bit of a wink and a nod to that. It's a little bit of a, it's that, that classic, Iron Man, Spider-Man story with him creating the suit. But, I think that's a good example of like what we've done on our franchise, tried to do is, respect the DNA of the franchise and the character, but like mix things up. So, they're not the iron arms, they're the spider arms, stuff like that. So, yeah.
As well, just to keep it on the topic of like Peter or just the Spider-Man and their arsenal. I think what I really, really appreciate is that the gadgets in Spider-Man 2 are way more streamlined now. There's 4 gadgets. They're both Spider-Man share. Was it more of like, was it like a less is more kind of approach for you guys on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors. That's so I think part of it was we knew that the abilities were going to be really powerful, right? And you're going to have for the gadget wheel that we had in previous games, like it does slow things down. We wanted things to be quick and be able to just press R1 and press the face button and go.
No
so it was
wheel
a little
popping
bit of that
up anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, and like there's a point where you can give them so much stuff that they basically become like human wrecking balls, right? And then it becomes like then it's just not a fun. It just like yes, it's cool to be like the super powerful character, but then at a certain time you're like, can you ever make the enemies difficult enough? So like a lot of the gadgets that you see are good like setup things, like they kind of chain together with certain things really well. So it was kind of that, like, you know, for example, like the upshot allows you to get people up in the air and then you can follow it up, you know, or you know, the web grabber brings everybody together, and you saw that move in the preview, the first reveal where he jumps down and does the smash. So it's just keeping things fast and frenetic. And, you know, we had a bunch of different prototypes and stuff. We just thought those 4 kind of fit well with the way that the abilities were coming along, and then just the pace of combat.
Yeah. I love too the web grabber when you upgrade it and you bring in all the throwable items in the vicinity too. Really satisfying. You know,
it's really funny. When we did that first like gameplay reveal where we showed that for the first time, we debated back and forth whether we were going to have that upgrade skill as part of the demo or not.
When I went last month to get the early hands-on, one of the things that I was able to, like, I guess, break to the internet when fooling around in the settings menu was you guys got fall damage now, and then through that it was also confirmed we have swing steering assist. So tell me about, you know, like, what does that do for the player if they want to jump in and like customize those options?
Traversal animations and suits are probably the 3 things I probably read about on the internet more than anything. A lot of people have opinions on it. And I think we understood that there's an audience, there's a group of players who want more of a, I'll call it, for lack of a better term, hardcore experience, right? They want that risk reward of, and I think for Spider-Man 1, it was really like, we're like, listen, we just want to make sure that people have a lot of fun swinging. And one of our gameplay directors, Doug Sheehan, who is kind of like, in many ways, I call him like the father of traversal and Spider-Man traversal and with our franchise. I know there's been other Spider-Man games. And he was the one who said, hey, maybe now's the time to give players more options. So he was the one who really brought the idea of like, and trust me, Doug reads all the feedback on traversal and all that stuff, along with our animators. And he was like, hey, I think we can give people more options. We want to make sure that not only does it allow for people to have more of that, I'll call it more of the hardcore experience that they want, have more of that risk reward, and maybe even increase replay value for them, but also make it easier for people who actually do need a little bit more assistance to play the game how they want to play. I think for something like, as you know, something as popular as Spider-Man that has such a worldwide appeal, our goal is to make it accessible to as many people as possible. So have more options for how people play the game I think is a good thing. So yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, now it can be like really, really hardcore. We also want to make sure that we're also providing assistance for people who do need a little bit more help, because, you know, our goal is to make the game playable by many people as possible.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, I noticed as well, there's plenty of accessibility features in there. Some more that you mentioned are coming post-launch.
Yeah, there's more coming after launch as well.
And even playing around with it myself, it's jarring jumping in and being like, oh, that's right. Like, I have to really think about when I start my swing now. Otherwise, I'm going to hit the ground.
Yeah. And yes, there are more swing animations. Yes, there are more swing animations.
Not that there was ever any doubt. There shouldn't have ever been any doubt, but
you know, you work on these, you know, these reveals, right? And you think you have everything, you think you have everything covered, and then it's like the one thing you didn't think of, right? And you know, people are like, well, do you get upset? I'm like, no, it's just like, people are passionate. People get excited. They want to see, you know, and I get it. But I'm like, we just watch a tweet like, there's more. Yeah. There's more, you know, and just that particular video didn't feature some of them. But we made sure the next video had more animations.
To transition a little bit to story, obviously, you know, Spider-Man has the greatest, maybe rogues gallery in all of comic books. You guys went all out with the Sinister Six in the first game. Now we have villains like Venom, Kraven, the Lizard here in the second game, more that are currently unrevealed. So my general question to you, I guess, even from the first game, Miles Morales, Spider-Man 2, what's kind of the process like, thinking like, okay, how do we fit the villains that people really want to see, but also make them service the story?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, I think we knew that we looked at Spider-Man 1 and Miles, like just kind of our analysis of the villains. They were very tech-based. They were very tech-based. Whether it's Tinkerer and Miles, and then obviously Otto in Spider-Man 1. We knew that the way the first game ended with Venom, we were going to do more of a monster feel, a more genetics gone, science gone wrong, obviously with Lizard. So it was kind of like thematically we wanted to change the kind of the approach for this game and gives a fresh feeling in terms of the theming. And then obviously, Kraven wasn't originally in the original pitch. He was very quickly afterwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he actually wasn't. And we were looking for, as we started developing the story and what we wanted to tell with Pete and Miles and where we were going with the symbiote, and then the rest of the character, we're like, who could be that character that helps drive some of the early portions of the game? And we were thinking like, well, you got Lizard, you got Venom. Some of our other characters are animal themed.
Yeah, I see where we're going.
Who makes sense, and like thinking like, I've at times we've called Manhattan the concrete, jungle. And I was like, all right.
True.
And we knew how popular Kraven was. We're like, could we do Kraven? And Kraven's a very challenging character from a tone standpoint. How could he fit in the world that we've created? Yeah. And I give all the credit to the writers and the animators. They did such a good job writing him and the performance that they got from him. Jim Carrey is Kraven, and he's awesome. And those are some of my favorite shoots working with Jim, because he really got into the character to the point where by the end he was telling us what we think the character should be. And it's really when you get actors really embracing their role and making it their own, that's when the magic really happens. So so I think it's like, of course your Marvel fan comes out and goes, who do you want to see? And then you're like, okay, thematically, how does it fit? And then like, what story do we want to tell? And then kind of all those factors go into like who we pick.
This game is exclusive to the PlayStation 5. You guys, obviously, you're taking control of that power. A lot of people are talking about what you've been able to achieve with fast travel and with the speed of the game. If there is one feature that you say like encapsulates the way you most took advantage of the PS5, what would you say that is?
It's funny. I don't feel like it's just one thing. I feel like I look at the game and like, obviously like the speed at which you can swing. So that's like one of the most obvious things. And then I think like you look at like the hero switching, how quick it is. Obviously the fast travel thing is like insane. And I think
it's
like
unbelievable.
And that's a great example of like knowing what the hardware can do, our engine and tech team telling us this is what we do, programming, animation design, all working on a system that shows it really well. The way it comes across even more is like some of our big set pieces. Like by this point, people have seen the launch trailer and they know you're gonna fight Sandman, right? Well, that mission, all the stuff we're doing, the in and out of buildings and going
like tosses Miles,
Miles, like that one scene I know everybody's been reposting. It's like crazy. Like that's like you're sitting there going like, how the heck do we even do this? Or like, that whole fight takes across multiple city blocks and goes across the river. And the fact that we can do those transitions so fast and so quick. And the other thing is like even storytelling, we could be in the northern part of Queens. Like for example, that mission that we featured in the preview event where Pete goes and checks out Connor's house and he can't make it to the fish market in time, and he goes, I gotta talk to Miles. Well, Miles is in Central Park. That's like really far away. So to load that so quickly is part of what gives us that ability, that storytelling, that we can change areas of the city so quickly is a testament to the hardware. So I think it's like, it's not just one thing to me. It's kind of a combination of everything.
You guys delivered. Cool. And thank you so much for taking the time. And thank you for the game. A big congrats again to you and the team on all the success, on all the love and the praise that it's getting. I can't wait for everybody to have it in their hands. Yeah, again, thank you.
Well, thank you for your support. I know, you got a lot of fans yourself, and they're asking a lot of questions. So we appreciate. It's always nice. It's always nice to talk to somebody who's very enthusiastic and really just. My way, you don't have to like everything. It's not about liking everything, but I do appreciate.
Oh, great. Let me tell you about the stuff that I hate. No.
Oh, exactly. But no, I appreciate it. I think we all do. And, everybody, there are a lot of people at Insomniac who are watching your stuff. So we're fans as well. So thanks for always supporting our stuff.
Nothing that I do is without the work that you guys put in. So I really appreciate the kind words. And again, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.